Thanks to the support as a channel member, Jacob Depew. Oh, folks, if you've been around, if you were around last summer, you knew this was coming. It's decision time for the comments section. Do you prefer sweaty mess, Kev, or Kev with a fan going in the background? You might want to put some headphones on and decide just how annoying that is. It's so hot. It's so hot in my office. Fan's gone off again. It'll be off for this video. I'm so hot. Oh, it's the new season, by the way. Hello, and welcome to part 29 of the Tour de France. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our first two games of the new season, and you never know, maybe some more transfer shenanigans, because we've got 6 weeks of transfer window left. 9 league games will be played before the transfer window closes, and we've done very little business so far. It was a very frustrating summer that we had to live through yesterday. We did bring in a couple of useful new signings. I think Iron in midfield is going to become the new cult hero, and he knows it. Look at him. He knows he's good. So we've got Iron Gomez in midfield. We've got some young players that are developed as well over the summer and over the course of the second half of last season. Ulrich and Gamer being the main one that we are all very excited about. But yeah, on the whole, not much has happened transfer-wise so far. And because of it, we still have a massive pile of money, which, I mean, I ain't going to complain about. Can we have? What can we have? No, don't spend the money. Keep the money, because then they won't sell the players out from under you. It's so tempting to say, can we have some even better facilities? Can we have a new state? No! Keep the money. We need the money so that we don't have another Vaquero situation happen to us. So this is the team for the first day of the new season. It has a familiar look with a few new faces in there. Mandrea somehow still in goal. We will sign a goalkeeper eventually, but for now, Mandrea continues for the 3rd season in a row. At the back four, we've got Cisse, Deleste, Maltanes, and new boy Vandermarsh, who came in on a free transfer from Cayenne, the Pepper people. Having spent the most part of the last 5 or 6 years playing at this level, so he should be a decent signing. Didn't play much for the Pepper people last year. Was he injured? Not really. I mean, he had a torn abdominal muscle, so he had tummy ache for 2 months. But other than that, looks like he just fell down the pecking order. The pecking order at the Pepper people pecking order. Yeah. Exactly. Renault at the base of the midfield, Iron in midfield alongside Keita. And then Barcola, who was here on loan last year, is now in permanently. One of the latest in a long line of players to do that. He was not great for us on loan last year. Hopefully now he's a proper tour boy. He'll show just how good he is. In fact, we are going to shuffle things around a little bit as part of him being here and Ungamer being around, because he wants to be an attacking winger. He wants to be an inside forward on support. So let's shuffle everything around a little bit and make that happen. So we'll make him the box-to-box midfielder. We're just switching the sides around. So we'll now swap those two over. So we still have Keita go. Why do I have the attacking midfielder? Surely it would make sense to actually have him that way around still. I don't know why we had him the way we did. Because this way, when Barcola cuts inside to here, which he'll do as an inverted winger, Keita will go outside of him and run beyond him. Actually makes more sense like this, I think. I don't know anything about tactics. Don't talk about tactics in videos, Kev. And then, of course, we have Tutu up front, who, because of a little burst of goals at the end of last season, looks like he had another good year. The media are fooled. They think he's 4th favourite to be top scorer in the entire division, despite the fact he's never broken 15 goals in a season. And that's playing 2 leagues below this one. He is still only 22, though, so you never know. Maybe this is the year that Gabriel Tutu becomes a superstar. We all want him to be with a name like that. But it's Ungamer we're all looking at. We want him to be... He's homegrown. He's one of our own. We want Ungamer to be the best thing in the history of the world. He's done a Mick Powell over the last 6 months. He's come from absolutely nowhere. He's still only 17 years old. And is now one of the best players at the club. 2nd best player at the club, according to the media. He's only going to get better. And hopefully we can have him drag us to the top of the league through just being too good to play for us. The thing is, of course, if he is as good as we all hope he's going to be, he'll only be here until January. But then presumably we'll sell him for an absolute ton of money that will really make it so we never have to sell anyone again. That's what we've got to be hoping for. Right, Barcola doing some nice tracking back there. Obviously, he's got to impress me today because we've got the new boy Chacon. We've also got Gotan, who's our club captain and one of my personal favourites, although probably not quite good enough for this level, but still young enough to improve. So there's plenty of competition in these wide areas. The one position we don't have much competition is up front. Tutu, if anything, has even less competition for his spot now because we sold Tio Her in the summer, which actually upset a section of the fans because Tio Her, for some reason, was considered a club icon who I sold at cut price. And we haven't really replaced him. Barcola, I guess, would have to go up front, or Gamer if we got an injury to Tutu. It is pretty urgent that we bring in another striker. And obviously, because of Mandrea, it's still pretty important that we bring in a goalkeeper. So we are keeping eyes out for both of those positions over the coming weeks as we wait for the transfer window to slam shut a quarter of the way into the season, which kind of defeats the object of having a transfer window as far as I'm concerned. I'm very much of the school of thought that squads should be settled and finished by the time you kick the ball for the first day of the season. But I know that's not very popular with, I guess, the media who make all the decisions, really. They want to be able to talk about transfers for as long as possible because it's headlines, news minutes. Barcola's just had a big miss. I've just been sat here talking about the potential of playing him up front, and he goes and misses an opportunity like that to put us 1-0 up. Iron in midfield is already broken. He wants to come off because he's bruised his shin. I mean, what kind of iron is that? A bruised shin? I bruise my shin getting out of bed 3 times a week because I bang it on the end of the bed. And he wants to come... He doesn't want... He's one of them. Well, he's named ironically then, apparently. And Gamer, we've not seen much of him so far, but reminder, he is only 17. This is only I think this is his first ever start for us. We don't necessarily expect him to be messy straight away. We just want him to get there as quickly as possible. We're also not playing him in the position that he wants to play in. He wants to be a playmaker out there on the right wing. I don't think I can bring myself to use a wide playmaker. It's not something I've ever really used. It doesn't really fit into the way I want to play. To me, it feels like you're wasting a wide position, having a guy just faff around out there doing nice passing. I mean, you can fit one of them in the middle if you have to. I don't want to waste an attack. My attackers all need to be pacey, direct runners. And he's got to become... Mandrea is so rubbish. What's he done here? How's that a corner? I wasn't even commentating on what was going on because it was just straight at him under no challenge and he still gives away a corner. Oh my goodness me. We need a new goalkeeper. We need a striker. We're creating chances and not putting them away. It's the same story as last year. I think Tutu could be a fantastic squad player for us at this level, but just the whole relying on him week in, week out, it doesn't suit the way he plays. He's very much a form player. He scores his goals in bursts where he'll look unplayable for 2 or 3 matches, and then he'll have 10 or 15 matches where he just doesn't turn up. And we can't rely on that as our main striker. So we need someone who's going to be a little bit more reliable with the finishing. I probably should have taken Gomez off at half-time, although that is a decent-looking through ball. We will take him off now because he is injured. We don't really it's the same thing as last year. We don't really have central midfielders to come on. David Carter can come on in there and Renault can go further forward. But that potentially suggests we probably still need a midfielder or 2 as well. This squad, far from finished, despite having 26 players in it. But the thing to remember with it being a 26-man squad is a number of those players are young players who we've pulled up from the B team but probably aren't ready for us to use yet. And we could probably just as easily send them back to the B team. And then we've got a handful of players who've been on the transfer list for a while who we just can't get shot of, who, again, I've got no intention of using. Our actual squad of players that we're going to use on a match-to-match basis is probably only 18 or 19 players. And that's why the bench is looking a little bit sparse. Certainly in terms of strikers, we don't have a striker on the bench. Oh, dear. We need a striker quick. Chasson. He's a right for... Yeah, he wants to do the same role. That's handy. It's almost as if I planned that. He can come on the left-hand side. We, of course, have 5 substitutions we can use at this level, so we can shuffle things around a lot. Noah Lemina can come on the right-hand side. He's a right footer, isn't he? Yeah. So he can come on and play over there. Keita is tired, so we play Gotan in that role quite often, so he can slot in there. And then we obviously don't have Moustache anymore, but we do have Hakim Abdallah, and he can come on and play left back for us. We're going to offer some encouragement. I don't really know how good Angers are. I didn't look up beforehand where they finished last year, where the media think they're going to finish. Part of me feels like they were probably in Ligue 1 last year. I don't remember playing them last season. So this actually might be an incredibly good performance if they're the best team in the league. We'll check into it after the match. This is proper match preparation we're doing here. But 2-2 is tiring now. And this is the problem we're going to have without having anyone to bring on for him. At least last year, we had Theo Her who could come on and run around a bit. He was never going to score, but he could come on and run around a bit just to relieve 2-2 a little bit. We don't have that this year. That goal's actually been disallowed. But you know what? For the final 5 minutes, I might just leave us on attacking anyway. We switched to attacking when we thought we'd gone a goal down. Let's push on a little bit for the final 5 minutes. See if we can sneak a win for ourselves. We can't. It's a pretty boring first day of the season. We need to get back into that sensational form we finished the season in a couple of days ago. And to do that, we need have I mentioned we need a striker? Let's just have a look to see how good Angers are. And then we'll decide if that was a good result or not. So last season, they finished not 9th in this league. Okay, so they were in this league last year. To be fair, they are second favourites for the title. So they are one of the better teams in the division. It's not a terrible result. We didn't lose, but we also didn't look like anything special at all, did we? We now play Rodez, who are relegation candidates. Let's try and win that one, shall we? Well, this is unexpected. Remember when I did the Greek Odyssey with Apollon, and despite winning multiple Greek leagues with them for like 8 years in a row, I could never get the Greece national team job. Well, France have just offered me the job to be France manager. I am not French. I have never managed in the top flight anywhere in the world. That seems baffling. I mean, I'm not going to take it because it feels a bit save breaky at this time. It would massively bump up my reputation and I think make it too easy to bring in players. So we're going to decline for now. I'm not necessarily ruling out being France manager at any point in this save, but I think for now we're just going to pretend that didn't happen and they can come back in for me when I've actually earned it, because there's no way in reality they offer this unknown English guy who's had 1 year in the second tier and didn't even get in the playoffs. There's no way they're offering me that job. That's just weird. Well, after a summer of not being able to find a striker for myself, I finally gave in and let my director of football bring me one in. I even let him spend money, £42,500 on Vinny Triboulet, 27 years old, Cameroonian, does have French as a second nationality though, has played in France for most of his career and been a bit rubbish, but went back to Cameroon for 2 years, scored loads of goals. So maybe he's learned how to score goals. I'm not that hopeful, but we needed a striker. We had none on the bench in the last game. We just needed someone who could play up front to come into the squad. So that's what we've got. In addition to that, we've not got Iron available in midfield today because of his poorly leg. So Traore comes in for him. And we brought Lamina in for Nguema, who had a very slow start to life as our new superstar. So we'll go back to what we're a little bit more used to. Lamina and Barcola, and Nguema can maybe ease his way into the team in a more sensible manner off the bench rather than just pinning all of our hopes on him immediately. I still am in two minds about whether we do what I toyed with the idea of doing towards the end of last season and maybe playing him as a second striker alongside Traore, alongside Tutu, sorry, because it looks like it would suit him arguably better than playing as an out-and-out winger. And if I'm not going to let him be that advanced playmaker out wide, I may as well let him do his playmaking stuff as a deep-lying forward in behind 2-2, it does mean obviously sacrificing either the wingers, which we have a lot of. So realistically, we're not sacrificing the wingers, or the holding midfield player. So we go to like a 4-2-3-1, or I guess more like a 4-2-4. But kind of have Traore in behind, sort of along, not Traore and Gramer alongside / sort of a bit behind 2-2. The Juan Jose role. Those of you who've been around for a long time, you know what I mean by the Juan Jose role. Those of you who watch on Twitch, that's how hot it is in here. No, the Kadrich role. We want the Kadrich role. I've played with deep line forwards a lot over the last 2 years. I love that role, and I think Gramer could potentially be able to do it. But again, he's only 17. Let's not change the whole system around to fit him in just yet. Let's see if he's any good first, or if it's just a coach getting it wrong about him, which has happened before. 2-2 is in. The linesman's flag is up. I don't think this is going to be given. Nice to see 2-2 apply a finish, though. And maybe he's going to be a little bit more lively today. Some nice football here, knocking the ball around between some of our attacking players. But maybe that extra pass we took that made it look fancy also led to 2-2 mistiming his run and ultimately ended up offside. So, again, maybe be a little bit more direct in that kind of situation, lads. Would it really hurt to be a little bit more direct? Renault now turns, plays the ball forward to Barcola, who, again, rarely started last year, played on the left in the last game, the right this game. Now he's our player. I'm willing to give him a little bit more opportunity to prove himself. But if he doesn't start looking good, he's done. You've seen me bin off wingers plenty of times over the course of this series so far. Traore plays it into Barcola, and now Van der Merch has come forward from right back. 2-2 is there, but he can't keep his header down. And it's a goal kick for Rodez. Is it Rodez? I guess it was Rodez. What's the Z sound in French? It's not th. That's Spanish, isn't it? I don't know what it is in French. I did French a bit at school. Z. You don't get a lot of Z in French. Zinedine Zidane. That's all Z, isn't it? Is that a French name? Isn't he Algerian descent? Do they speak French? I'm getting myself very confused here now. Zidane's on the mind because obviously I'm basically Zinedine Zidane, as they wanted me to take over from him. I'm considered on a level with him when it comes to managers in French football. I'm that good. Can we please do a goal? What is happening here? Right. We don't have a right back on the bench. Rubbish. Right. We're going to get Vinny on up front. Vinny Triboulet. Maybe he's the answer. Who knows? David Carter can come on as well. We're going to make a few changes here. Gotan's going to come on the left and play his traditional left-wing role. And then we'll bring in Gamer on the right. And we'll just go with two out-and-out wingers. Perhaps drop Gotan back to being the more defensive of the two so that we don't go too gung-ho. And I guess Abdallah comes on for Cisse. We do a big 5 changes as we look to just throw something at this match in the hopes of getting a result out of it, because we have looked very, very toothless at the start of this season so far. Keita with the in-swinging corner, looking for Deleste and can't find him. Traore brings it down, though. Martinez back to Keita. We've got a man over on this right-hand side. Keita again takes the shot. It's spilled. Triboulet's there and misses. Does 2-2 score? I know. Triboulet didn't. Oh, I'd love a striker who could get Theo Hurt back on the phone. The club icon. We miss him already. And his 3 goals that he scored for us last year. Well, if that episode doesn't hammer home the I need a striker narrative, I don't know what will. I feel like the next month or so in game before tomorrow's episode is going to be a long one, as I go back through all the old scout reports, talk to the director of football every day, and try and find a striker. 2-0-0s at the start of the season. What will they think of next? If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.